Hey everyone. Well, I gotta be honest, I didn't get my script written today. I'm kind of crunched for time, so I'm just gonna blow right through this for lack of a better term. But you know, at the same time, I'm kind of glad I didn't get my script done because I kind of prefer to do these without a script. I don't always get to do that because I want to organize my thoughts and be concise, but, you know, time constraints today have just put me in a situation where I'm winging it, so bear with me, please. So, for today, I decided that we were going to do another topical video because we haven't done a topical video in a while, and it just so happened that the turkey Bill Nye the fascist guy, that is not my nickname, that's Steven Crowder's nickname, please don't sue me, is back, and he's come out with another video that it has his usual snarky, condescending tone. So I thought we would just zone in on a couple of his rather condescending statements and just talk about how basically he's not answering science questions, which is what the video from Wired suggests. He's answered political ideologue questions, which isn't even remotely surprising because basically at this point science and politics are a synonym. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gary Varner. This is Renegade Reason, and today Bill Nye talks politics. I mean science. So let's get into it.
Today we're going to do some science support. Our first question comes from Destiny Dolan. No, serious question. What makes people think global warming isn't a real thing? Like, it's February and it's 70 degrees outside, upside down smiley emoji. So I'm thinking now that it's cognitive dissonance. This is a real effect where people have a certain worldview. They're confronted with evidence which conflicts with the worldview. So they have dissonance, conflict in their minds. What's generally done, instead of changing your worldview, which you may have held your entire life, you dismiss the evidence, and along with that, you dismiss the authorities that may have provided the evidence.
Yes, you see, fellow Twitterer, there's also this thing called pot calling the kettle black syndrome, and you see, this is when a pretentious prick decides to project his own problems onto another human being because he cannot possibly fathom other people having a different way of thinking than he does. This is the thing that's really frustrating to me about Bill Nye and about this whole global warming topic. When Bill Nye did his interview with Tucker Carlson did not just disagree with him. Tucker Carlson just asked what in the hell is going to happen as a result of global warming. And here's the crazy thing. Bill Nye couldn't answer the question. These idiots have spent so much time complaining about people who don't believe in global warming, they don't even know what's going to happen if global warming is actually a thing. Nobody is really arguing about whether or not global warming is actually happening. That has never been the issue. The issue is whether or not the global warming is a result of something cyclical or if it's a new development. And the issue is whether or not this global warming is man-made or not, and if it is man-made, how much can man actually do about it? That is a much more involved, nuanced question, or series of questions, than just saying whether or not global warming is actually a thing. You see, there's probably some people that believe it's not a thing, but for the most part, everybody's just going, okay, yeah, it might be, so what's causing it, and what's going to happen if it's real? But this is another classic example of a straw man. You just kick the weakest argument you can find so you can make yourself look smarter because you don't have a damn argument.
Do you know how long Earth has existed? This is from Isa Nissan. And I would say, yeah, 4.6 billion years.
Unfortunately, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but rest assured that that number changes quite often. When I was a kid, it was 2 million, then later 2 billion, then later it became 3 billion, now it's 4.6. And some people have done the math that we are actually aging about several million years per second because we're that sure. Now, I'm not saying I'm a young Earth creationist guy. I mean, I am. I would consider myself a young Earth creationist guy. I'm not like in the 6,000 years category, but compared to 4.6 billion years, yeah, I am. But anyway, I just want to say the science is not settled on that, and you don't need to have a tone. You guys still, even in your own circles, you can't figure out that date. Nobody ever gets that stuff figured out. How could you?
Rocky Online. I have a doubt related to evolution theory. If we evolved from monkeys, then why are there still monkeys? That's brilliant. You're the first guy to ever wonder this. We did not descend from monkeys. Monkeys and we have a common ancestor. So you may have seen this picture, this famous arrangement. This isn't really accurate. It wasn't just one to the other to the other. As we say, the family tree of hominids, like you and me, and even my old boss, is not just a straight line of one organism leading to another. It's a bush, as we say. So,
yeah, most creationists get that. Okay, that's not an inherently difficult concept. It's this thing called joking. When most people say that argument, it's called joking. But let's just assume this guy was serious. If he was serious, then yeah, he's wrong. That's not how that works. But let me ask you this, just to throw this out there. Just throwing this out there, okay? If monkeys are basically kind of cousins rather than our grandpappy, why does every time you find a freaking skeleton that even remotely resembles a monkey, you assume it's an ancestor rather than a cousin? You assume it's a direct descendant rather than an offshoot. Just curious. Just want to know that. Not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying it's very interesting how convenient that rule comes into play, and it happens to only come into play whenever Christians ask the question.
Stand with Rand writes, can alternative energy effectively replace fossil fuels? Absolutely yes. Burning coal is the worst thing we can be doing. So I encourage you to check out the solutionsproject.org. They have done an analysis of not only the United States' electricity needs, but 130 other countries around the world. And we could power the whole place right now if we just decided to do it with wind, solar energy, some tidal energy, some geothermal energy. We could run the whole place. Wouldn't shut down existing nuclear plants, but it's really hard to build a new nuclear plant because nobody wants them around.
Okay, here's the problem with the whole, do we have enough alternative versions of energy to power the whole world? Maybe, but we don't have a way to store it. That's the problem Germany ran into. Yes, we have these ways to actually, get these kinds of energy. We have solar, we have wind, we have all these different things, but we have no way to actually take that energy and save it up. So what happens is you get massive ebbs and flows. So you're going to have times where the electricity is really, really expensive because nobody can get enough of it, and then you're going to have times where it's really, really cheap because there's too much. You can't store it. That's why we're not there yet. Now, maybe we can replace it once we find a way to actually store that energy rather than just kind of using it as the environment allows us. Yeah, we've been trying to use alternative energies for a long time, and that's the problem we're running into. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I am saying we are not there yet, and it does no good to pretend like we are. Okay, I gotta be honest, guys. I'm just gonna stop here because, frankly, I don't have the time. I want to keep going, and I might even do a part 2 to this, to be completely honest, because this is just too good to pass up. So I think I will do a part 2 on this, maybe Monday, but for now, I'm just gonna stop it here. I really need to do an evolution thing. I've been planning on doing that video for forever, and I just haven't done it yet. And like I said, I'm not a young Earth creationist guy per se. I mean, I am compared to 4.6 billion years, but I'm not a 6,000 years type. But still, aside from that, evolution and this whole thing the scientific community has been doing, it's really just kind of the granddaddy of all the political issues we're seeing today. These guys learned how to make global warming popular by learning how to, basically discredit the creationists and discredit the opponents of evolution. The tactics they use for both are exactly the same, and it's just ad hominems and political pressure and straw men. But I haven't done it yet. I'm going to get to it, but I haven't done it yet. But anyway, I'm going to stop it here, and we'll keep going at a later date. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate your time. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And of course, once again, thank you, God willing. We'll see you again. Peace.